So with social media, I always say like you have to be consistent. A lot of times they get excited and then they're posting, 5 times in a week, but then you don't hear from them for 3 weeks. And that's just not doing anything for you.
Welcome back to the Regenhard Report. And today we have an awesome guest, Andrea Kraft. Andrea Kraft is owner-operator of Lemonade Hype. And so you guys might know of her locally in town. You might even use her. She works with a lot of realtors, businesses locally. And we're excited to have you on. We get numerous questions with this whole thing called social media and how to tackle it and how everyone needs help with it. So welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let's start out with the question, Lemonade Hype. What is it? How'd you even come up with the name?
It's funny. I think I tell people the answer to this like 5 times a week because people ask me, that's like one of the most common questions. But
okay, well then I'm going to interrupt you. Did you create a reel about it and did you put it on your social?
No, I should.
Do it. Then you don't have to answer the question.
Yeah.
You created another barrier and knocked it down. Right? Boom, done.
Genius. So when I started the business in 2016.
Okay.
And I was I knew I wanted to do a lemon as my logo.
All right.
I'm a graphic designer. That's where I started doing a lot of graphic design. And I just thought the lemon represented like creative juices, squeezing.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just liked the name. I thought it was cool. So I was sitting with my mom and I was like, I want the business to be something with a lemon, but I feel like having a name like creative or marketing behind it is just boring. So we were Googling and then she's found the word hype, my mom, and she's like, what about hype? And I was like, Lemonade Hype, I love it. And so that same day I bought the domain, I made a website, and
boom,
the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Credit to your mom then.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So what do you do with Lemonade Hype?
So we're a full service digital marketing agency. So we do graphic design, whether that's branding, collateral, anything that has to do with design, we create it. We do website design, social media management, and then we also do traditional marketing like print advertising, mailers, postcards. We do it all.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Do you do it all yourself or you have a team?
I have a team. So we're a team of 5. And then we also have some freelancers we work with that are in different parts of the state who are special. Like if their specialty is doing animated graphics, we'll work with them as well.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So who are some of your clientele then?
We really have clients in every field. We have restaurants, we have medical offices, we work with a lot of realtors, fitness studios, fashion brands. You give us anything and we can market it.
Who's your favorite client?
Favorite? I don't pick favorites. It's like picking a favorite industry
kid. Well, you only have one kid, so you can say your favorite. I'm the only child, so I am the favorite. My mom would say. She said I'm the best too, but that might be subject, right? It might be biased, right? So you deal with a lot of realtors, you deal with a lot of businesses, and you create a brand for them. Mm-hmm. Why is that important? Because everyone knows that they should be doing it, and they're told it probably from their broker, or they're told it by a mentor or a coach or whoever, but they don't understand the why behind it. Why is branding so important for a business?
Branding, it's really just the recognition. It's people being able to recognize who you are and make the connection to want to work with you. Like, for example, we were just talking about the name Lemonade Hype. A lot of people, they've seen my name. As soon as I tell them Lemonade Hype, they're like, I've seen that before. They relate it to yellow. You go on my social media feed, it's all yellow. My website has yellow. So we kind of like imprint that in people's head subconsciously. And then they relate it, they see a business card, they see a flyer, they know it's us. And they say it takes 7 times for someone to see a brand and then make the connection. But if your brand is all over the place, they're really just never going to make that connection.
So you hit a perfect example, and you hit the nail on the head in this sense, because a lot of people always are like, oh, what is marketing, what is branding? Like branding is obviously the recognition, and like the analogy I always use is like, if I say Apple, like what do people think, right? Unfortunately, they think of the production, the tech company, right? Phones, laptops, whatever. They don't even think of the fruit that comes from a tree, right? Like the branding of Apple took over so much that when we say the word Apple, like they get recognized, right? Which is powerful, right? It took a lot of money and effort, right? But they're there. Explain then what marketing is compared to branding.
So marketing it's the actual effort to get people to see the brand in order to make the connection to want to work with you. But like you really have to have both. And I have a lot of clients who will come to me. They're like, I've had this business for, like a few years, and I feel like I just now want to start getting my branding because it's all over the place. We use different fonts for everything. And they're really just working backwards. Like if I know it's an initial investment to brand yourself up at the beginning, but then you have it all set in place. So all the efforts you do are being used for your benefit. And then you're not spending money retroactively just to make up for what you didn't do at the beginning. So they both go hand in hand.
They do, for sure. So a business owner that is thinking about, or, someone that is, let's say, getting into business, or they just started and they're in that early stage, what are some suggestions that you have for them to help them isolate their branding and help them take action in actually executing a branding?
Find an agency or graphic designer who you feel is a good match, and then they can guide you on how to find the right colors, the right fonts that are going to get across the message that you want to get across. And like I said, make that initial investment up front, and it's going to be worth your while.
Now, most businesses, or let's say entrepreneurs or someone that wants to get into business, they're very skeptical because they're like, I don't have very much money. Is this a huge like upfront expense for most people? Or like what should people kind of expect generally, right? Not with you guys or someone else, but like just in a general standpoint.
It's really not huge. I mean, again, it depends who you work with, like the experience of the designer that you work with. But it can be in the hundreds. Like you can find a designer to make your logo for a few hundred, like, $500, or you can find someone for a few $1,000s, again, depending on their level of expertise. But I would say you
get what you pay for, right?
Yeah, you do get what you pay for. But like a branding package, I would say you invest a few thousand at the beginning, and you're going to really save money in the long run.
100%. And you're going to start off running in a sense, not just like crawling, because like you already have all that stuff. And so when people need logos and they need this, and like you're posting everywhere, you're not going through the change process and whatnot. Like you're going to hit the ground running, and trust me, from someone that didn't do it, I highly recommend it. I had something, but not really what we wanted and what we perfected. So yeah, it's powerful. So, all right. So when you say like, marketing, right? Like what are some efforts that people can do? You said you do all the different kind of means or different parts of marketing. Kind of go through those, and why would people, let me ask you this then. Do you suggest only social media? Do you suggest only like print, only whatever? Or do you think a combination? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it depends on the type of business and the budget. So, bigger businesses, I always, I recommend to do both. So have some budget put into digital and have some put into print. Especially in a community like Naples, print is very much alive. People love to say like print is dead. Here, it's really not. Like people in this demographic, they look at print, they're picking up the magazines, they're getting it in the mail. So I think in Naples, it's a good market to do print.
The old people are sitting at home, and their highlight of their day is when the mailman comes.
It is.
And then they come out and they get the mail.
They're reading it.
Yeah. And I do want to comment on that, because I actually was a believer in that. And I was one of those people that were like, print is dead. And I run a print magazine, right? And so what I found, though, also is like, you got to be relevant, right? And I bet this goes with social or anything like that. You got to be relevant, right? And so if you can find something that's relevant to your audience, go down that style of niche, or that print. Like for us, obviously we're real estate focused, and we're specific to the top 500 realtors. We're very particular, very focused, and it's relevant. Like someone like Pavich or whatever, they're going to see someone else and be like, oh, I know so-and-so, like I worked with them, you know, whatever it is. Right. So you got to find something that's focused and niche. And print's not dead. It obviously does very well down here, and a lot of people gain a lot from it. So
yeah, they do. And then I think if you mix that with digital, then they're just going to keep seeing you like, oh wow, this person really has, you know, their stuff together. I'm seeing them everywhere. So someone who has a smaller budget though, and print just isn't in their budget, you know, then I'm like, do digital, do some digital ads. You're going to be able to get more bang for your buck. You know, on social, you can spend a few $100s on social, on Instagram or Facebook ads, and it's just not possible with print.
Right.
But I think having both is key.
Yeah. So this social media, right? It is the biggest kind of hype of, pun intended, right?
Yeah.
Biggest kind of hype in most businesses. They're like, I got to be on social media. Let me tag you on Instagram. Let me do this. And they're like, how do I improve my social media, right? So like, let's get to the basics. Like if I'm a business owner, like what do I need to do, or what do you instruct clients at a bare minimum to be, in a sense, online?
So with social media, I always say like you have to be consistent. That's like the number one thing, because people, a lot of times they get excited and then they're posting, you know, 5 times in a week, but then you don't hear from them for 3 weeks. And that's just not doing anything for you. So be consistent, find a schedule, even if that's 1 time a week, but you're posting every single week. And then have your brand, whatever that brand is. If you are your brand, like a lot of realtors, you are your brand. What is the messaging you want to get across? So you're branding. And then just make sure that's effectively, that story is being told effectively on social.
So when you say telling a story, does that mean I have to get in front of a camera?
Yes.
Well, most people don't want to, right? Like most business owners are not creative. Most business owners, even realtors, like they're good at the transaction. They're good at the sale. You put them in front of a camera, how awkward do they get?
Yeah, I know. And that's like literally one of our biggest struggles is people getting comfortable in front of the camera. You don't need to. Like, you don't need to if you just want to have a presence. You can post your transactions. You can post like ads and photos.
Boring.
But if,
right?
No, it's serious.
Sorry, I see so many. I'm like, oh my God, another close, just close.
Exactly,
I'm like, I don't know. Like, but maybe it works, I guess, in some way, but.
If you want to grow, if your goal is engagement and growth, you need to be doing video. Like if you're not doing video, you're not really doing anything for your brand. And people want a face. They want that personal aspect. Even if you have a business that's like, show your team. You don't have to be talking all the time. It can be you doing walkthroughs. You can be creative with transitions, but it's something you kind of have to like break the barrier and just be on video.
And you're going to make mistakes, right? Like it's okay. And
yeah, it makes you relatable.
Oh man, I'm so glad you said that, because like I say it all the time and I swear people are like, yeah, you're just saying that. But like, no, like you make a little mistake and like people realize you're real. Like, I don't know what the timeline or statistic or whatever, but like back in the day, everyone tried to make all these ads perfect. And it was like, you had to make everything so perfect. And then there was a shift, and you could see it in social media that like the selfie video ad was getting 10 times the engagement than the professional, you know, $5,000 ad that they used all these high-tech cameras on. Because right away you looked at it and you're like, oh, this is an ad, and you like skip it. Whereas like if it was a selfie video, they're like, oh, what is this? You know? So it's like they can relate more and sometimes just make a little error and kind of work out in your favor.
Yeah, no, it's true. And a lot of times, like you said, like the iPhone videos, sometimes they'll outperform the professional videos. Not all the time, but a lot of time they do, because it's that raw, like people want that rawness. So it's important for social to show it.
And she said, use your iPhone, right? Yes, you don't have to go crazy, invest in a ton. Probably shout out Visions, obviously. So is our sponsor this one, right? You know, you can use us at any time, but like, you know, doesn't, just because there's a barrier to entry, you all have a phone that does take videos, right? And people need to, at the end of the day, get out and just shoot the video. And guess what? Work out the kinks then. You know, like my mom always makes jokes like, it's crazy. We never run out of film. right? And it's like, yeah, because it's not film cameras anymore. I'm like, you can just delete the picture. Well, same thing with video.
Yeah,
make
just
the
another
errors,
take. Yeah,
do another take, get those out of your system.
Yeah, and like talking really again about professional versus iPhone, I like having the mix. You know, like if you're doing a property tour, like that looks good with professional camera. Like you want that drone, like you want that to show the luxury aspect. But then if it's you talking, joking, doing little TikTok-y stuff, like iPhone for sure.
Ooh, you opened a can of worms here.
I know, TikTok.
TikTok, all right? There's YouTube Shorts, there's TikTok, there's Facebook, there's Instagram. Am I missing one? I think those are the big one, right? Yeah. Which is the best platform?
Okay, so there's not one answer for that.
All right.
It depends on the client, like what their service or product is,
Gotcha.
and what their goals are. So Naples is super Instagram heavy. Like most users are on Instagram. TikTok is very young and it's not really as big here in Naples. It's still here and it's getting more popular. But it depends, are your goals to grow in Naples or your goals to grow nationally?
And probably international, right?
And international, yeah. Exactly. And I just think Instagram is like, for where we are, it's still like key, it's still top, Instagram.
So if you're in Naples, you're growing a business, I think the first one, download, create an account on Instagram.
Yes.
And start doing some stuff.
Exactly. And a lot of times clients are overwhelmed. Like they literally want to do all of them. They're like, I want to do my YouTube, my Instagram, my Facebook, all of this. And it's great. If you have the budget and the team and you're going to commit to making the content, let's go, let's do it. But if you're not sure if you can have the budget or have all of the content, pick one. I always say just pick one. Let's grow that account and then we can grow the others. Like why are you going to have 5 accounts if they're not? Because they all require a different type of video and different editing, which is a whole nother can of worms.
So let's talk about this for a second. You said you got to commit to the content. Mm-hmm. But Andrea, when I hire you, I thought if I hire you, I don't have to do it.
We're going to be bugging you. If you hire us, it means we bug you.
So I think people have still, even though it's pretty self-explanatory, I think, to myself, people still, I hear it all the time, like I'm hiring them to do it all. But like you can't just create content out of, fairy dust, right? I mean, yes, you can create a graphic, but those don't perform as a face, right? Mm-hmm. And so people, correct me if I'm wrong, but like people have to understand, like when you commit to doing social, doing whatever, you have to get out and create the content. You have to put in the work, right?
Totally. And like we really squeeze our clients.
Ooh, that's a good point. All right.
We really squeeze our clients what they have. So like if, whether it's graphics, images, videos, like we use that for social. We do as much as we can to take the load off of clients. But if we need your face, like we need you there, we need you to show up. I know if it's not your favorite thing, it might be hard, but you really need to commit to it. I've had so many clients who want to, become famous on YouTube or do a channel. And then like a month in, they're just like, okay, no, it's not for me. Or they just stop committing to the schedule. And then, we go nowhere. So you just have to make sure you're going to commit to it and you're going to do it. So let's use Joe Pavich Jr., right? Yeah.
Right. And hopefully he's okay with us announcing that you guys help him.
Yeah.
And because I know he promotes you guys and he's passionate about it and he supports visions and we do all his the video work. So, if we just did some stupid little video without him in it, how would it perform?
I mean, it really wouldn't. Like it really wouldn't perform.
It's what people want to see him, right? Mm-hmm. So like Joe Pavich Jr. does a ton of volume. So like if you're a realtor out there and you want to do something, remember he's doing a ton of volume and he's still creating content. Mm-hmm. Now you guys make it a lot easier though, right? You guys are going there and you're like, all right, say this, do this. We're gonna emulate this funny trending video, right? Or we're gonna do this or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so then you create it with him, right? And
exactly.
So you help him. So it is saving him a lot of time, which is obviously time is money to him, right? So you guys are guiding him, but you still got to show up and you still got to do it. And I think people forget that.
Yeah.
Because how many times do people like probably contact you? You're like, like, you just don't understand, right?
Yeah, no, it's like that. It went viral for a little bit of people saying like when the social media content creator shows up and it shows everyone hiding, like that's how we are. People start hiding when they see us come. Joe, he's an exception though. He's very good on camera.
He's great, so natural.
Like, you tell him to say anything, he says it. He's funny. Like he puts
first
his own
take
spin.
too.
Yeah, first take, one take wonder.
Yeah. Shout out to Joe. Great. You know, and it's not easy. All right. He's crushing. He's doing it good.
Yeah.
But I know sometimes he's probably like, man, I didn't sound good or whatever. Like it's hard to be in front of camera. So amount of times Kobe made fun of me the first few times I was on camera. Woo-wee. The first few podcasts. Oh my gosh, they were bad.
Yeah. But Kobe makes it easy. We love
Kobe.
you, Kobe.
Kobe does help out. Shout out. Kobe's behind the cameras here. All right. So you obviously have the people, right? And let's say you're helping them create content. If I'm a potential content creator now, right? I'm creating content and you're helping me manage it and you're helping me create it. Is this like a once a day? Like I have to like record tons of stuff? Is it once a week? Like, is it once a month? Like what is the average that your clients have to dedicate from a time standpoint?
It depends on how many posts per week. So that's how we set up our packages. It depends on the number of posts per week.
Gotcha.
We usually do like once a month. We meet with a client and get all the content for the month. But if a client has like posts that require more, then it's different, or they film also and send to us. Because everyone is so busy, we just know it's not feasible to be like, we want to meet twice a week. Like it's just, you can't, you know?
No.
So we try to do once a month, like get everything in, and then we're good for the month.
Cool. Cool. All right. So I want to talk about, I feel everyone post-COVID decided to become a social media manager. You, first of all, started in 2016, you said. You did this way before COVID. You've established a business. You created the domains. You got all this stuff. You actually treating it as a business. You're operating as a business. You have the credibility as a business. Like you are a business. You're not a social media manager, right? A lot of people are claiming to be businesses and they're just social media managers, right? So like, how do you distinguish between the two? And what did you do from a business standpoint to make sure you set yourself up for success?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the why behind people wanting to be a social media manager makes sense because it's mostly remote. You get to travel, you don't have to go into an office 9 to 5. And I think that's very appealing to people. But it is a business. And I think a lot of times what I see happening, people will start to do it like on their own, freelancing, and they realize how much work is required. And then they're like, whoa, like I'm not getting paid enough. Like I'm not going to do this. It's too much. Because when you are handling a business's social media account, it's way different than personal. When it's personal, it's like there's a detachment. It's fun. You can mess up. You can be messy. When you're in charge of someone's business and their presence, like you can't mess up. You can't have typos. You have to get the message across. If they're not getting engagement or inquiries to their business, like they're going to you. So you start becoming answerable to a client. Like, why isn't my business doing well? Like, why don't I have this many followers? Like, so they rely on you, especially nowadays that businesses rely so much on social. You're pretty like a very integral part of the business's success nowadays. And then as a business, like we don't just handle your social, like we're handling the strategy. So like what's behind it? What are our goals for, every quarter and then the year? What products are you releasing? What services do you have? So there's a marketing arm behind the social media. It's not just posting cute things on Instagram. You have to have the strategy, which I think a lot of times people who try to do it alone, they don't know, they're not aware of that, or they just don't have the ability. But not saying they can't do it, they just have to be well equipped.
And knowledgeable. It's changing so quickly.
Every day. Yeah.
Like I get an update from, Alex, which runs mine, and it's like, what happened? Why? I thought we were going down this path because this, and it's like, what? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just crazy how quick it changes. And you kind of breezed over it, but I want to say like there's so much more to it. It's not just, hey, let me take this video and like post it and write a caption for it. Because I think a lot of people think that.
Yeah.
They think I just don't have time, or I'm in meetings, so like I'm going to hire you, Andrea, to take my little picture or video that I made. I just want you to create a caption, and can you post it at like 1:00, please? Right? Like, that's not it, right? Like, you're doing so much more. And people need to realize that, like, it's now turning into a whole division of businesses, in my opinion, right? Like, they have marketing divisions. They've always had it, right? In some fashion. Like, I think like social is like pretty much taking over half of that whole marketing department, right?
Yeah, it has. It's definitely, it's a full-time position. Like, it could be a full-time position. And I think people have to be aware of the time also that is spent on it for the client too, because a lot of times you tell the clients, you know, rates, and they might be like, whoa, like, it's just social media. And it's like, you spend so much time on every account. It's not just like, let me post and like walk away. We're tracking the analytics. We're monitoring comments, monitoring engagement. It's like 24 hours of just nonstop. And
they can do it, right? Like, but they reached out to you. They reached out to someone, right? They need help, right? So like, you have to analyze your time. Right? Like, so if you know what your worth is, you know how much, you know, if you go out and sell to a client or whatever, you know what your time's worth. So figure that out. Right. And like, you have the numbers on how much time you spend on an account, share it with them. It's probably sickening, right? That you spend that much time on their social media account. Right. And so at the end of the day, that's what they're paying for. And people forget that. We can't trade time, right? That's the only thing we get.
No, so, time is money.
Exactly. So what is in a sense, you said consistency is kind of like the single best advice, right? But like, let's say I'm just like struggling, like kind of creating content, right? Like, what are some tips for like someone to just like, maybe just get started and post a few things like, hey, I am going to commit this year. After listening to Andrea on Lemonade Hype on the podcast, I'm going to commit to one post a week. I can at least do that, right? And they get in their mind, but then Sunday comes along and they don't have a post for next week and they're just struggling and they just can't come up with anything. What are some suggestions for someone to like kind of create content?
So I think something I tell people a lot, like if friends or family reach out to me, I always say create a calendar for the upcoming month, so that you know exactly what you're going to film that day, or what you want to release that day, and it's going to help you stay organized. And when you take a step back, you can be more big picture of what's going on, like. Because a lot of times the day of, if you're just posting the day of, you're not really thinking of what the goals are for that whole month and the quarter and where that's going to take you the upcoming quarter. So when you actually take a step back, you can have a little more strategy behind it. And even getting so particular as like, what day of the week am I posting? Like, am I going to be posting every Monday or every Wednesday? I think that can even create a little community, because people are like, oh, he drops his video every Monday. Let's go watch. Let's make sure we see what he posts. Or
our podcast every Monday. Shout out. Little plug here. Okay.
Yeah. But like that, people start remembering that. Yeah. Or like, in a restaurant, Wing Wednesday, like I want to see what wings are going to post this Wednesday. Like it might sound silly, but it really creates that sense of community and people start wanting to see what that is. So you can even just get down to what day of the week are you posting. You can, like, Monday I post food, Tuesday I post a home, Wednesday I post like real estate, like whatever it is. Make it easy for yourself, and so people have something to follow.
Yeah, it's so true, and it's something we do. Like, obviously you guys see our podcast, they come out on Monday. We make 3 reels out of every podcast. It's not some secret thing. We make 3 reels, and guess what, they go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's super easy, and we know what to do. We post them. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What is the best time to post?
There is no magic answer. I know.
I thought I was going to get the perfect time. I thought it was 3:41 p.m. I don't know.
I wish I was a genie that can tell you. But the way clients can find that, everyone's different. Every account is different. You need to look at your own analytics. So you can Google to see, like, the optimal days for, to send out emails, and you can get general ideas.
Right.
But the best data is going to be your own data. So like what days does...
I thought I just have a news feed. You're saying I can actually look at my account?
Yes.
I'm playing a little dumb here, guys, if you can't tell. I did know a little bit. Now, have I got in there? No. But I know there is a lot of data in the...
Yeah, so actually Instagram gives you a lot of analytics that people don't know about, but you need to make sure that you have a business or a creator profile, not a personal business page, a personal Instagram account.
Okay, so people, you have to understand, just because your account says your business name doesn't mean it's a business name or a business account, right? Like, it has to be switched over. Like, there's a switch where like you're transitioning your account. Like, if you've done public to private or private to public or different things like that, like you have to switch your account over.
Exactly. It's a different setting. So all the time we get clients give us hand over their social and they're on a personal platform. So you can't connect your Facebook business page. You can't just easily, Instagram lets you have like a tap to call or tap to see the address. You don't have any of those features. You can't see analytics. You can't see anything.
So very limited.
Very limited. Yeah.
Gotcha. So first thing, change it over to business account, right? And go from there. So we talked about time, you get the analytics, right? And then you start posting. And then obviously I'm going to get to the point and then I can reach out to you when I'm like, all right, I don't know I want to create more, but I need help, right? All right. So I want to switch gears. I appreciate all the information on social media. And obviously, you've created a reputable business in town. I know a lot of people that use you. How do you balance it? I mean, you got a personal life. You got a little young child, married. Like, how do you go about managing all these different people's accounts, running a team, running a business, being a mom, being a wife, all that kind of stuff?
It's not easy. But it's really my team. I have an amazing team. If I didn't have that support system, I really couldn't do what I do, like being with my daughter as much as I am. So I have a strong team, a strong foundation. And then we use a lot of tools, like online tools that help us get organized. We have a scheduler. So there's things you can use that will help automate certain tasks. But it's the team. Like, they run the show. They're amazing.
That's cool. All right. You probably motivated a ton of people today to get involved in their social media. They might reach out to you. They might just get involved. But you've also probably motivated someone to take that leap and maybe, start a business of their own. What are some advice to someone if they're going to go out and create a business today that you would give them, just like, hey, here's the first few steps. Good luck, go crush it. What are those steps and what are those suggestions for them?
Yeah, I would say, really just be confident in what you do, even if you feel like you don't know it all. Like, I still feel like I don't know it all. I think you'll never feel like you know it all. And I think when you reach that point, you're no longer learning or becoming better at your trade. So just go for it. Like, be confident in what you do, be open to learning, brand yourself, make a website, make a business bank account. I know a lot of people who don't do that off the start. Like, it's so important to have a business credit card. Make it legit. Do your invoicing legit, QuickBooks or whatever it may be. Set yourself up so you're super organized so that once that growth comes, you have all your systems in place.
Amen to that. I want to say something. You guys all know we make podcasts and we record actually multiple in a day. Today is the third one in this day, okay? And I'm only saying that to let you guys in a little secret. I've kind of asked that question to a lot of entrepreneurs, and it's something that I usually ask to most entrepreneurs just to try to see what the common suggestions, common comments that people say. You are the third person. The first thing out of your mouth is be confident. Okay? So like, as a listener, please understand, if you are going to go out on your own, or you're going to do something, or you just started, or you're struggling right now, maybe you're in business and you're just struggling, just be confident, right? Because like, you got to be confident in yourself and your team and what you're executing, and go get it. So I get the privilege of sitting down with amazing people like yourself and hearing that all the time. And that is a common thing, is being confident and then putting in the work. So Andrea, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing so much information. I feel like a lot of the questions that we talked about and statements and suggestions and things like that, I get asked, even though I don't do social media. I mean, we have decent presence, and we do a lot online. So that's why they ask us, and I guarantee they ask you all these questions 10 times the amount, right? And so hopefully people got some information today. I know you shared a lot. We really appreciate it. We'll have all your information below as well. So if you are interested in what they could do to help, how they could help your business grow, reach out to them and their team. So thank you, Andrea, for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
So we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for tuning in.